What's up, YouTube? This is CJ.
And Sarah.
It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for another Keto
Conversation.
Let's get started. You're going to take the lead on this one.
I'm going to take the lead on this one.
You're going to take the lead, and I'm going to just throw in
random bits of male input.
Random bits of awesomeness as I think of them. That might be not very many.
So tonight we're going to talk about body image and just some thoughts and feelings on body image, body changes on the ketogenic lifestyle, and just different things you can go through. I guess the reason I'm taking the lead on this one is sometimes there can be differences between men and women as far as body image, and sometimes women have more concerns or just think about it more often than men do, and so that's why.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't think about it, and it's not, I think this is an important topic. I just think that my perspective just as a man may be a little bit different. I mean, I think of some of these things, but I don't.
And I don't think that men quite have the societal pressure sometimes that, and even just self-pressure that women do generally. So that's why it's kind of more geared towards the female subjects.
Anyway, so you're going to take the lead, and I'll, like I said, I'll throw in stuff as I feel like it.
Right. So basically we're going to be discussing how we need to make an effort to not be too hard on ourselves. Because sometimes we can have feelings, sometimes concerns, especially on this journey, especially, after you've lost some weight and you're continuing on your journey, the second half of your journey, you might still have some feelings where you don't think you look the way you want to look at. And so sometimes you just start to get down on yourself. So this is kind of a self-positivity conversation. So we're going to do the best that we can to motivate all of our listeners and also motivate ourselves, because sometimes it can be difficult. Yeah.
And I think one of the things that brought this topic up is I had a situation recently where I can't remember what I was wearing, but I was wearing some clothes, and I saw myself in the mirror, and I said, wow, I actually look thin, or thinner than I used to. And the revelation, that wasn't the only revelation, but part of the revelation is that I was actually wearing clothes that fit properly versus wearing clothes that were still 2 to 3 sizes too large. And so that's kind of how we start talking about the body image topic.
And then I think that kind of coincided with, we were filming the other day, and I had on a shirt that was a style that I used to really favor when I was a lot more overweight. And I didn't realize how many of those kinds of shirts that I still had in my wardrobe. And when I had it on and we started filming, it was like I was wearing a potato sack. It was not at all flattering to my body shape now. And I guess it just called to mind what we're talking about today, is sometimes we can hold on to those thoughts about ourselves.
Yeah, we've changed.
Right.
We've lost weight. No matter how much it is, we've lost weight, but we still have a tendency to hold on to those things and that image that we may have had before. We like to call that.
This is CJ's term that he has coined.
Yes, I'm going to coin this, and I might copyright
it. Going to trademark it.
Trademark it. I always tell Sarah that she's got fat eyes. And what I mean by that is she has made tremendous progress, with the keto lifestyle, but she's seeing herself the way she used to look, and then she thinks I'm biased because I'm so in love with her. But I always tell her that, hey, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't be saying anything about it. If it wasn't true, you wouldn't be hearing it from me.
You just compliment me on something else.
I'd compliment her. I'd say, your forehead is beautiful. But anyway, so fat eyes, we always talk about that, and we use that term a lot. But that's all it means. It means that you're still seeing yourself in the image that you used to be versus how you really are today.
So one of the ways, the first thing that you can do to help overcome maybe having fat eyes is to keep a visual record of your changes. And this is especially true for women because a lot of times the scale is slower to move, or it stops moving for a period of time, or it's not moving as quickly as your male partner or other people that maybe you see on Facebook groups or other things like that. And so having a visual record is a very nice way, besides just taking your measurements, for you to see the changes in yourself. And I know that's even true of a man, though, because I know I have this habit of whenever we travel, I like to take pictures of CJ behind the tripod. So it's kind of having a picture of the photographer taking a photo. And I was looking at several of them from a couple of years ago. We went to Portland for my birthday one year, and we also visited Orcas Island. And then this last vlog that we had of our Oregon coast trip, I also took one of those pictures of him. And seeing the difference in those couple of years was just astounding to me.
Yeah, it was astounding to me too.
Yeah.
You know, and I live with myself every day.
Right.
But again, I can still have fat eyes as well.
Right.
Because it can, well, because a lot of times the change is so gradual.
Right.
And, you know, and so we just, still in our brains, we're still having that. So like Sarah said, the visual record is very important. Take those pictures, look at them. I even think about that video we did with you, with kind of your transformation.
Yes.
And, you know, I look at that and I'm like, wow, you know.
Yeah, because, you know, we fell in love with each other when we were significantly overweight.
Yeah.
More so than we are now. You know, we were 70 to 80 pounds heavier when we met. And then together, sometimes when you first get into a relationship, then, you know, I like to cook, CJ likes to eat, and so do I.
Yeah, no problem.
So then we went ahead and added some more pounds in the first couple of years that we were together. So sometimes it's, you know, you look back on that and you don't recall how overweight you were because that's not what it was about. I mean, you were attracted to the person and their other qualities, not just their physical qualities. But then you see, wow, what an amazing difference that you've made together as a couple. So,
yeah, and a lot of times we see that because of the pictures that we look at.
So that's a very good thing to remember. And also, it can sometimes be difficult because you need to remind yourself that you're only going to be a smaller version of yourself. You are not going to look like someone else. You're not going to look like a supermodel. You're not, you know, you still have to consider your age, your genetics, just all of these things. So trying not to compare yourself with other people can be sometimes difficult because we're constantly bombarded with images of ideals, especially in the United States and particularly women. So it's a good reminder to keep it realistic as far as what you would like to accomplish for yourself, keeping in mind your limitations. Like I said, your age, your genetics. There are certain things for myself that genetically I have heavy upper arms, and I had them when I was 14 years old. That's probably just something that I will always deal with. And so you do have to keep that in the parameters of what you can expect when you lose weight. Is that some things you look wonderful compared to maybe how you did when you first started, but you still have to keep in mind what you're working with genetically and age-wise. I mean, I'm in my early 40s and I've had 3 children, so it's probably never going to be washboard abs, and Baywatch is not going to be calling. But, you know,
I think that
Baywatch Moms edition.
Right.
So that's something to consider. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive to be your best possible you. You definitely should. If, you know, toning up, exercising, lifting weights, whatever you want to do to have your best possible you, definitely do that. But also try and not be too hard on yourself to try and fit into some kind of physical ideal that is really not realistic.
Right. Right.
So, and it's something to remind.
Yeah.
We all have to be reminded of that.
Keep things in a proper perspective.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see what else.
Well, sometimes too, for me, like I've talked about with CJ before, is that sometimes it's difficult to maybe foresee what you are meant to look like. Because for myself, I've always been an overweight adult. So I really don't know what I'm supposed to look like because I've always been overweight since my late teens. So sometimes it can be hard, to know what you're going to look like. At least CJ has a personal visual record.
Yeah, I actually have lost, and I shouldn't say lost. I actually have kind of, I would say, transformed my body previously.
Because you don't want to say lose, because that means something that you
right,
want to search for.
Well, yeah, but I actually have sort of remade my body before using a different method. It wasn't keto, and it involved a lot of weightlifting and a lot of work, a lot of hard work. And I actually didn't lose that many pounds. I might have lost only 50 pounds, but I had totally recompositioned my body. And so I do have some visual records that, like you said, you don't have, because I can look back and see that and say, okay, I remember what that looks like. I remember what that felt like.
Right.
I have a picture every day on my mirror from back in that period of time, and I can say, okay, that's what I used to look like when I was, blah, blah, blah size.
Yeah.
And so that's a good thing to have, but everybody doesn't have that. And
right.
So that is an issue that some I'm sure other people face as well.
Yeah.
They're just not even sure. And I guess another issue might be is, how do you know when you're done?
Right. You really don't. I mean, I don't know I guess for me, it's just going to be continuous. I don't plan on giving up this lifestyle, so I'll just continue eating a certain way, and, trying to tone up what I already have.
And when I say done, I'm not talking about done with keto and going
no.
back to how we used to eat. I'm just talking about
done with the desire to continue to lose weight.
Right. Because we talk about this all the time. We're
right.
never going back to the standard American diet. We just, and not even because of the weight loss part. We just know the health benefits of keto, and we just never we'll just never go back. So.
Right. But that what you mean is the feeling of where you feel like you need to continue to lose more weight.
Yeah, and so when you get to that point, and I know that I've said personally that I probably want to go down a couple more sizes as far as my pants, and but realistically, I know once I get to that point, I'm not gonna look like Goody Beats or Thomas DeLauer. I'm going to be a smaller version of myself right now. Yeah. But then I'll go into another phase of keto. I'll go into another phase of
where you'll try more weightlifting.
Weightlifting and try and just to see what can be developed by what I've done.
Right.
So there'll always be something. From my perspective, I will always be doing something.
Yes.
And I'll always be doing keto.
It's always going to be where you're going to continue to walk on that path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're just going to continue to slowly morph, and it could take a while. It could take a couple of years, even. To continue to lose to the degree that you would like to lose. It all depends on you. It depends on your journey. Mm-hmm. Everyone's journey is different.
Everybody's journey is different. Yeah, and that's just important for you to know.
Yeah.
So
basically, this was kind of a pep talk because we wanted to, I know for me, I tell my daughters to love themselves, that, it doesn't matter what other people think, that you have to love you. And it comes naturally as a mother for me to do that. But sometimes we need reminders to do that for ourselves, that it's okay to have feelings of maybe where you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you think, I'm not finished. Or I would still like to lose a few pounds from here or from there. But the point of this video was also to remember to not be too hard on yourself and to celebrate how far you've come.
Yeah, celebrate your progress
in this journey.
Stretch your stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're doing stuff that...
And buy clothes that fit you. Even if you buy them at Goodwill.
Yeah, and
buy clothes that fit you.
And that's a strategy that I've started using for months now. Is I don't buy brand new clothes.
And try some new styles.
I go to Goodwill.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm losing and I'm going to be moving
Yeah.
and moving through them.
And don't be afraid to try a new style. If it
Yeah.
doesn't fit you and you're not comfortable with it, that's fine. But,
Oh, yeah.
you know, if you haven't worn shorts in years, try wearing shorts. You know, some of those things can be difficult sometimes because we tend to look at our body flaws. But try and move past your comfort zone because your body is different. It is changing. You are a different shape. You are a
Yes.
different person. So maybe try some things that you have never tried before because your body wasn't the way it is now.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't think, and I guess keep this in mind as well, you know, not only are we changing our bodies because of keto and we're losing weight, but, you know, you're actually changing your mental state as well, because if you're doing keto and you're sticking with keto, even through the tough times when the scale's not moving that fast, you know what? You're changing yourself mentally.
Yeah.
You're changing how you think about things and
About food.
about
Your
food,
relationship
your
with
relationship with food. And so it's not just about the weight. I mean, I know that's what we focus on a lot, sure, because that's a great benefit of it. But I really do think that, you know, the keto journey is also about how you change yourself mentally, emotionally, as it relates to food, and just as it relates to yourself
Yeah.
as well. So,
Yeah. So we hope that this has been helpful.
yeah.
And we would really love it if you would share your thoughts on this subject.
Yeah, that's important to us.
Because we really enjoy reading your comments and your feelings about the things we've said, the things we've talked about, because your thoughts help us and they help other people who are also reading the comments. So feel free to do that.
Yeah.
And we hope that you will come back and join us again and consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you will be notified when we upload new content. We like to have these conversations every Wednesday, and then we also have recipes on Sunday, and we'd love you to be a part of our ketogenic family.
Yep.
So come on back,
Yeah. Come on back.
and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Yeah. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Reese's Pieces. Sugar free.
Okay.